All right, let's dive into one of the most electric, poetic, and let's be honest, wildly misunderstood books in all of philosophy, Nietzsche's Thus Spoke Zarathustra. Now, this is not your average philosophy text. It's part story, part prophecy, and it's a huge challenge to pretty much everything we think about how to live. So let's unpack its massive ideas together. This quote right here, it's basically the engine for the entire book. What Nietzsche is telling us is that real greatness, true creativity, that beautiful transformation, it doesn't come from being comfortable and orderly, no. It's born from embracing the chaos you have inside you. And believe me, that idea is going to drive everything we talk about today. So who's telling this story? We meet our main character, Zarathustra. He's a prophet who's been living alone on a mountaintop for a solid 10 years. And he gets to a point where he says he's weary of my wisdom, like a bee that has gathered too much honey. Basically, he's so full of ideas he's about to burst, and he decides it's finally time to go down and share what he's figured out. But the world he comes back to, well, it's in a pretty bad state. He looks around and sees that all the old pillars of meaning, religion, traditional morality, all the old truths, they just don't have any real power anymore. They've kind of become hollow shells, and people are just adrift with no real compass, no deep sense of purpose. And this leads us to maybe the most famous and most misinterpreted line Nietzsche ever wrote: God is dead. Now, for Zarathustra, this is not a celebration. He's not throwing a party. It's a diagnosis. He's saying the idea of God, which was the foundation of meaning in the West for centuries, has lost its power. And this has created a huge, terrifying vacuum. Zarathustra's biggest fear is what humanity is going to rush to fill it with. So, with God dead and the old rulebook thrown out, humanity is standing at a massive crossroads. We can either just collapse into a meaningless life of comfort, or we can try to reach for something new, something greater. Zarathustra shows up not to say we're all doomed, but as a guide, offering a new goal, one that's firmly planted right here on Earth. And here it is, his big answer, the Overman, or the Übermensch. It's so important to get this right. This is not a new god. It's not a specific person. It's a new goal for all of us. It's a state of being where we learn to overcome ourselves, to create our own values, and to find our purpose right here on this planet, not in some faraway heaven. But for every great potential, there's always a terrible alternative. And for Zarathustra, the opposite of the Overman is so bleak, so horrifying. He calls the person who lives it the most despicable man, the last man. So who is this last man? Just picture the ultimate creature of comfort. He has no great passions, no wild ambitions, zero desire for risk. He looks at the very things that make us great: love, creation, desire, and he just gives a confused, passive blink. He's lost that fire, that spark that makes us human. In the world of the last man, nobody's striving for greatness anymore. Everything is just leveled down. It's all made safe, easy, and, small. Ambition is treated like it's some kind of illness. The whole point isn't to overcome challenges. It's to get rid of challenges entirely. But when you do that, you get rid of meaning, too. And here's the really dangerous part. The last man thinks he's won. He says, we've invented happiness. But it's what Zarathustra calls a wretched contentment. It's a happiness that's just about comfort, security, and not feeling any pain. For Zarathustra, this isn't the peak of humanity. It's the absolute end. It's a dead end we choose for ourselves, where we trade all our potential for a warm, safe, and completely meaningless life. So, how do we dodge becoming the last man and actually aim for the Overman? Well, Zarathustra doesn't just give us the goal, he actually gives us a kind of roadmap. He lays out this amazing metaphor for the journey our spirit needs to take, the 3 metamorphoses. I mean, this is the core question, right? If the old values are gone, where do new ones come from? Zarathustra's answer is a total game changer. He says you don't find them, you have to evolve the strength to create them yourself. Okay, so here's the journey in 3 stages. First, the spirit is a camel. The camel is dutiful. It kneels down and takes on the heaviest burdens, all the thou shalts, all the rules of society. But then it transforms into a lion. The lion's job is to fight for freedom. It says a sacred no to all those old duties. But even the lion can only destroy. It can't create. For that, it has to become a child. The child is a new beginning, a fresh start, a sacred yes to life. creating new values playfully, just for the joy of it.
And who does the lion have to fight? It's the great dragon, and its name is Thou Shalt. Just imagine, every single scale on this dragon's body is a rule from the past, glittering with commands. The dragon roars, "All value has already been created." The lion's job is to defeat this beast and its claim that everything's already been decided.
So all of this, it brings us to a fundamental choice. Zarathustra is showing us that humanity has a path forward, not just a final goal. He's asking us to be more than we are right now, to actually become a bridge to a greater future. And when you put the two options side by side like this, the choice is just incredibly stark, isn't it? The last man seeks comfort and brings humanity's journey to a screeching halt. The Overman creates new values and becomes that bridge to an unknown future. It is the ultimate choice between a comfortable ending and a difficult but truly meaningful beginning. But here is the single most important part to remember. The Overman is not a final destination. It's not a perfected person or some kind of master race. Get all that out of your head. It is a process. It's a direction you point yourself in. It is the constant act of self-overcoming, of always striving to be more than you are. The journey is the goal.
And that leaves us with Zarathustra's most profound thought. He says he doesn't admire the people who are perfected and finished. He loves the ones who are in the middle of crossing over, the ones who are willing to go under, to sacrifice who they are right now for who they could become. And that really leaves us with the ultimate question. Are we content to be a dead end, or are we willing to be a bridge?